David Cassidy, man undercover, won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today is another
For the Stepdads.
Oh, you angry old stepdads are here to wrap up Haterade.
We're going to hate a little bit more, just a little bit more.
You know, it's been a fun month.
Yes.
But it'll be nice to go back to things that we like.
Yeah, I will say that I definitely, by the time we got to Clerks, I was a little hated out.
It seemed like a long month. I feel like Explorers was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, actually, it did. But it definitely, I mean, it was a longer month because there were 5 Fridays. So I think it's a couple times a year we always get the 4-banger.
Oh, yeah.
And, but yeah, man. Also, it takes a lot out of you when you watch something that you really don't like.
Yeah, but got our passions, got our hackles up.
Yeah, it's nice to know that the feedback we've gotten is that we chose 4 very good movies to hate on.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a little disappointed in this month because I was hoping at least one of us would come around on one of these and be like, you know what? I kind of like it now.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought it was going to be Clerks. I thought Clerks was going to be the one.
You were very wrong.
I know, but look, I went into it wanting to. You didn't go into
it
with my Haterade strong.
I did that for all of them. I mean, I even tried to give, although I did find some stuff in Highlander that I actually liked, which I didn't before. Okay. Like the way he shot it and some of the editing and different shots that he did, the director did. So there's that, I guess.
I think there's something in every one of these horrible movies that we could say something positive about.
Yeah.
The Explorers is an interesting first couple of acts. Good little actors.
Great actors. The leads.
Two of the
2/3 correct.
Yes. Yeah. Tugging at you, Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
But you've gotten a lot better. I know our beef is over, Mr. Hawke. And Transformers, there was some interesting colors.
The best thing about Transformers was that it ended.
Yes.
That was crap. And there was one person that was so mad at us.
Sure, look, that's a beloved film for a lot of folks.
Just wrong. That was just over and over again. It's like, all right, man, calm down.
That's not a very cogent argument.
No.
But we could look. It's called opinion, people.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
exactly.
Art is subjective. And the word art is subjective concerning these 4 films.
How dare you ruin his childhood?
But yeah, I get it. I mean, look, there are some sacred cows, and Transformers, the fandom is extremely rabid.
If you can find positive things about it, great. Awesome. More power to you. I wish I could. I just, watching it again, it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. Look, Sharktacon's kind of cool.
I loved the shark. So there you go. There was one positive thing. The Sharktacon.
And Leonard Nimoy.
And the voice cast. I mean, the voice cast was incredible.
Autobots. Make a confusing movie.
More shooting.
Roll out, Autobots.
Oh, there's a giant planet man.
Yeah. Time to die and bring on the new toys. Long live the new toys, Autobots. Like you said, Highlander, some good shots.
Yeah.
And, as dumb as it was, Sean Connery is always charming and fun to watch.
100%.
And Clancy Brown is always fun to watch, too.
Yeah, both of them were great. It's just unfortunate that you had to deal with...
for Me Too movie, sword fight, come for face. Christopher Lambert.
He was unleashed on the world because of Highlander. Maybe that's why I don't like it.
Tarzan Stroke of Greystones.
Oh, Anyway, listen to that episode because we already gone over it ad nauseum.
Yes, and then Clerks. There was that funny 37 dick joke thing that I laughed out loud
in a row.
Yeah. There was some fun. Look, there's some funny dialogue, and there was some. And the one actor, she was awesome.
Lisa Spoonhour.
Lisa Spoonhour.
Yeah. And actually, I liked Veronica, Marilyn Gigliotti. I thought she was pretty good.
She was very... she's like every actor I've seen in a
very typical class. Of a mid-90s actor.
Acting class, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they all kind of were, but that's not their fault. Again, this is... And here's the thing that I will say about that movie, which is incredible, and I think I mentioned it on the show, is that, hey, man, this guy did everything he could to make this movie happen.
Yeah.
He did, which is an achievement of itself, especially on film. I mean, look.
Yeah.
This is not when people could just pick up a video camera and shoot something.
He had 40 takes of something to get it right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he really busted his ass to make his dream come true, and then took an inauspicious debut, in my opinion, and turned it into an amazing career.
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect for Kevin Smith and what he's done.
Yeah, he's developed as. It was nice being able to watch him grow as an artist throughout the years.
And I think so many guys like Quentin Tarantino, others, they come out of the gate, boom, with this whip smart, and it's like,
right.
That's not the norm. Not everybody's going to be, coming out strong the first time. A lot of first films are not.
No, for example, the Boondock Saints, Troy Duffy, a lot of, now granted, the movie was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand why everybody thought it was the greatest thing ever.
I hated it.
Which is fine. I mean, I
love Norman Reedus,
understand that,
and I love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
but I hated that movie. It kind of made independent film a little insufferable for a while. The Miramax years.
Oh, it did.
But
well, I mean, we definitely got some other like the Desperado guy.
Yeah, I remember. I saw the first, the
El Mariachi.
El Mariachi.
Yeah,
I saw that at Dick Donner's house.
Oh, really? Wow.
Not with him.
Wow.
I was there because my
hanging out, eating popcorn, sharing popcorn.
I hung out at his house a lot. Not with him, but I had a lot of friends who worked for the Donners, and so we were up there doing something.
At his compound or whatever. Yeah,
it's the house from Lethal Weapon, where the guy falls in the pool.
The pool.
That's his house.
Yeah.
It's a great house. He's got like a Superman statue coming out of the mountain.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome. Or it was. I don't know if they still have it or whatever. But it was really, it wasn't ostentatious or like a mansion. It was like a nice house. It was very subdued for somebody so successful. Anyway, they would just get tapes and stuff, and it was one of those things that was going around at the time that this guy made this movie for like $5,000 and.
Oh, was it? I thought it was like $600 or something.
No, I don't think it was that cheap. But
well, he definitely. I mean. He's another one like Kevin Smith. Robert Rodriguez is another one like Kevin Smith, where he did what he had to do. Like there's no actual dialogue. Like they ADR'd everything because he couldn't afford to have.
No, but he did some interesting stuff.
But he shot it really well. It was done well, and it was a good movie.
Yes, so that was a fun time, and I was lucky enough to see a lot of these things before anybody else did. Right. Another one, which I totally hate. And it spurned a horrible genre of found footage movies. But I remember my friend giving me a videotape of
Blair
Witch Project and being like, dude, this is real. Trying to pass it off as like, this is like, they found this footage and, you should check it out, man. It's really creepy.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching it. And at the beginning, I'm like, yeah, okay. And then here's the thing. This is what ruined it for me as somebody who worked with those cameras. There's no way their sound would have lasted out without plugging it in. None of it. All of it, and because of my technical expertise, my technical knowledge. Let's be straight about that. I was able to see through the ruse.
Yeah.
But still, it was just like, oh man, I appreciate what they did, and I appreciate the success of it.
Well, that was because that was about the marketing more than anything else. Because the movie was not very good. I mean, the last 30 seconds was amazing, but the build up to it and all that was just not in the movie. The marketing though was brilliant.
It was so horribly shot that they literally had to put a warning at the theaters, like, you're gonna puke.
Yeah, I saw it in like a huge 400 seat theater,
nice.
and 20 minutes into it, half the audience was just bored out of their mind. I had no business seeing this small independent horror movie on this big screen. Like nobody cared, and it just so sucked away the energy from the movie. It was hard to judge it the first time.
Right.
But then I saw it at home, and I was like, oh, okay. Like at home with the lights off, and like you're watching somebody's home footage. Like it made a little more sense.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, watching it alone in a dark apartment, a little baked, and with a glass of whiskey by my side.
Right.
I got a little freaked until I figured out that it was.
There's no way. I actually, it's funny. And I think I've talked about this before, but I actually stopped talking to one of my uncles because of that movie.
Really?
We were at a Thanksgiving, and it was the couple months after it came out, and he was like, yeah, your aunt, she works with one of their sisters, and it's really sad they're all dead. And I was just like, they're actors? Yeah. Like, you get their actors, right? No, they died. And we argued, and I literally left, and I didn't talk to him again. That was 25 years ago, and
crazy.
I have not talked to him
And
since.
There wasn't really the internet back then for you to, like, pop up the
clips I couldn't prove
actors,
it, that it was, like, But it was just like, come on. It was like Cannibal Holocaust when that came out. And then everyone thought it was so real that they got sued, and they had to literally bring the actors in to be like, yes. I wasn't eaten alive.
People are ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing that I love the most about that is my sister knows a guy whose fiance's brother was best friends.
Like, come on,
with the dude that
come on. I don't.
It's just urban myth. I know when it starts with I know a guy.
Yeah,
it's all BS.
Nope. It's anyway. The nice thing now is that they're getting a divorce, so I don't have to deal with him anymore because the aunt was actually blood related, and the uncle was a big fat blowhard.
Good riddance, blowhard. Yeah. Good riddance.
Anyway, but yeah, it's hard. Like, Paranormal Activity was one of those that was like I think it was Brazilian or something, and I hated that movie.
Same.
Like, there's so many low budget movies that just aren't good.
I don't care for gimmick movies, and I'm really not a fan of found footage movies.
Yeah.
There's very few. There's a couple that have been really good.
For me with Paranormal Activity, the thing that annoyed me more than anything else was that it was like the husband just kept being like, no, I think it's just a draft. And he's like literally watching the door slam open and close. And he's like, no, I don't believe this.
It was like, literally a ghost punching him in the face. He's like, I don't think so.
I really honestly think it's just a weather balloon. I don't think this is happening.
I think I'm just having a nosebleed.
Yeah, it's just bad writing. I mean, that's really at the end of the day, and I think that's part of the reason why Clerks did well was because it was at least semi-competent with the writing.
Yes.
And,
I mean, look, I will come around because I might have been caught up in my haterade. I might have been a little bit harsh. I don't know. I mean, it was my opinion, but reflecting upon it again after, a few days after seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some really decent writing, and he does capture the idiocy of conversations that dudes had in their 20s in the 90s. And those conversations were pointless.
It was a perfect time capsule of what 1993, 1994 was for people at that age.
Yeah.
Like, it was perfect.
We're all sociopaths.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I still
don't think that you went too harsh because Greg, our friend Greg, texted me and told me a story about how he hated that movie so much, and he went to a party, and everyone was drinking, and they put the movie on, and he was like, no, maybe I'll get another chance. And 10 minutes into it, he was like, no, I can't do this, and left.
I think Greg and I are the same person.
I can begin to think that, too.
We have very similar tastes, especially on things we don't like. So,
right.
If you're listening, Greg.
Oh, Greg will be listening.
We're and I.
That actually brings me to Old Man Corrections Corner.
Oh, yes.
Because I feel bad. I had said that Greg was the one that got me to watch Highlander.
You besmirched his character.
And he very much told me that was not true because he's not that he hates Highlander. He's ambivalent towards it.
Sure. I think he's got the same feeling that I do, which it's like it's okay to fun to watch with some friends and make fun of, but you're not going to go out of your way to find it.
This is me formally apologizing to Greg for besmirching your character. I don't know who it was. This is my old man brain. I don't know who it was that finally convinced me to watch it.
Right.
I'm beginning to think it was you.
That's weird.
But I don't know. But it was somebody that definitely liked the movie.
Well, if it was me, I would have watched it with you.
That's true.
I usually am like, hey, let's, I make people watch it.
It might have been Mark, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know. It might have been Mark, but I don't know. Anyway, the other thing with our Old Man Corrections Corner is that
I was wrong about, and I'm actually really ashamed of this.
You should be,
because I did know guns very well as a child. But James Bond's gun was not a Walther PPK. It was not a P-38.
Yeah,
P-38 was SS gun, a Nazi gun.
It was a Nazi gun, which also, again,
Well, so was actually the PPK was a Nazi
but
gun.
it just kind of like, really? That was the choice for Megatron to turn into was the most well-known Nazi gun?
Well, they're Decepticons, and nobody's more deceptive than the Nazis.
He's the bad guy. You got it. Bad guys got to do bad guy things.
Autobots, fight anti-Semitism. Yeah, so sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah. That was, I'm sure there was somebody, I'm sure it was that one guy who was super mad, was like, how dare you? How dare you besmirch my P-38?
Hey, I get it, One of the worst things about watching a movie with my stepdad, and there were plenty, but one of the worst was anytime any gun appeared on screen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Winchester...
oh, God.
Double action 532. Oh, that's a M1 carbine. They wouldn't. Nope. They wouldn't have that gun. That gun wasn't invented until 30 years after this movie. That didn't make any sense. Yeah, there's no way he would be using a Springfield. That's just not. Shut up! I don't care.
Anytime anybody does, it's like, number one, it's a movie.
It's an effing
just
movie.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. It's not reality. It's not a reality show.
Shotguns. They wouldn't fire on the moon.
No.
No. Okay, yeah.
Well. Yeah, I don't. Every time it's like, okay.
It was interminable.
That was like people complaining about in the awful late 90s Godzilla remake, about people complaining about the helicopters flying around the cities. They can't do that. That's not how physics works. Yeah. Did you not see the giant 30-story creature tearing everything down?
With Matthew Broderick. Oh, Godzilla's coming.
Let it go. Just let it go.
Let's get Godzilla.
Anyway,
oh my God. I just thought of that. It was interminable. Like, just shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, so to go into movies we watched, I want to talk about Dream Scenario.
Right, yeah.
We finally watched Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage. It was written and directed by Christopher Borgli, a Norwegian filmmaker.
You can tell by the way he spells Christopher.
Yeah. But the thing is that I realized that I knew what it's based on, the whole, like, have you seen this man.com, which is like someone was like, oh, I had a dream about this guy, and now he's everywhere. And then other people were like, oh, yeah, I had that dream too. Yeah, and then it turns out that, like, less than a year later, the person that did it was like, yeah, I made it all up.
Yeah, of course. Well, have you ever seen like Jimmy Kimmel, where they go and they're like, and they interview people on the street and they say, "Oh, did you hear that? President Biden just lost 3 toes in a fire." Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear about that. I think. Where did you hear about that? Oh, I think I heard it on the news. And isn't it crazy that they found out that his skin is made of metal? Oh my God, yeah. Well, I totally read about that. Yeah. And it's like, instead of, it's just this weird thing that people have.
Yeah.
That they don't want to. Look, when I was younger, I was the a-hole that would, that people would be like, oh, did you read such and such? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, of course, because you don't want to be the a-hole that didn't read it.
Right.
But now that I'm older, I'm like, no, I'm an idiot. I didn't read it. It's like, I don't care.
This is why every time I admit not seeing a certain movie, you're like, what? And it's like,
that's shocking sometimes. But you know what I mean? It's like we all do the thing where we don't want to be...
But this was the thing with Dream Scenario. I knew that this thing wasn't, because I was interested in that. Like, it was part of internet lore and like all that. And I knew it wasn't real. But during watching the movie, I wasn't yelling about how this is stupid because it didn't actually happen.
This isn't a true story.
Yeah. Although I will say that I was not a huge fan of Dream Scenario. It was fine.
I was disappointed.
It didn't quite live up to what I wanted it to be. And
it was kind of halfway between Nick Cage's Oscar bait roles and his goofball roles.
Yeah.
He didn't really hit either side, kind of straddled the middle.
Yeah, and he wasn't... It's like they tried to make him not likable, but then...
He's just not engaging.
Then he just wasn't likable at all.
Exactly.
And it was like...
I mean, he's supposed to be this kind of nondescript guy who appears in dreams, but the character was very uninteresting, which is... a feat in itself for Nick Cage to have an uninteresting character. I mean, I'm almost impressed.
That's very true.
With the fact that he was able to pull that off. But I mean, he looks schlubby. He's got the look down.
Yeah.
It just didn't really go anywhere.
That's what I felt like it was a good concept that just wasn't borne out properly.
Right.
Yeah.
It hit some of the beats. There's some interesting stuff. The backlash and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really looking forward to that movie, and I wouldn't say it was bad, but I would say it was slightly disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. We also watched Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead.
Yes, this month my birthday is in March. I'm a Pisces. A little fish boy.
Oh, Pisces.
Yeah, baby. Splash, splash, splishity, splash.
Yeah, you love that water.
Actually, I do. When I was a kid, you could not get me out of the water.
Right.
Now, that's why I'm so sad.
The irony is that you've literally never used the pool that we have in our complex.
I used to use it all the time. I actually took care of that pool. There was a neighbor and I. She and I would go down to that pool store by by McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah.
And we would get like the tester and we would get chemicals.
Oh,
and
wow.
we actually like fully revitalized that pool because
they weren't taking care of it.
Well, we also used it a lot.
Right.
And the neighbor there was a very weird period of all these young people living here, and it was just this huge party central place.
Right.
And so we used the pool all the time.
They actually just did the testing and the cleaning this morning.
I wouldn't use it now. It's diarrhea central.
Strong chemicals.
Anyway, I'm a Pisces.
So Zom 100, we watched it for your birthday.
We did. I had a great birthday. I want to thank my buddy Matt for taking me out to a great lunch. That was really fun. And then Adam and Phoebe and Newt hung out, and Adam made a great mac and cheese extravaganza with meat, bacon, and
if you ever really want to make a good baked mac and cheese, make a bechamel sauce, but then use tomato soup in it. It tastes so good.
It's great.
So good.
It was great. And then Adam got me the $6 Million Man Complete Season series.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited because it comes with the TV movies that aren't available, and we're going to start watching those.
So hard to find. It was good.
And got some really good whiskey from Newt. Yeah. And also Phoebe, she also gave me the
$6 Million Man. I did find for you also the complete Batman TV series.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Oh, I was going to watch the Clerks cartoon, but I didn't.
It's really hard to find. It's available for purchase, I should say, but it's not available on streaming anywhere. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so it was my birthday, which was great. So we decided to watch Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead.
Great trailer, which is what got us to watch it.
Yeah.
It actually came out in August of last year. I was surprised, but it's based off of a manga that came out in 2018.
Yeah.
And then an anime that came out in January of 2023. But it was fun. It was ridiculous. It was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
It has possibly the greatest zombie animal I've ever encountered. It is so this shark.
Yes.
They have this zombie shark that it ate a bunch of folks.
Yeah.
So it has all these legs coming out, legs.
They pop out of his stomach, and it's like a weird shark centipede.
Yeah.
It is so bizarre.
And since it's the undead, it doesn't need water, so it runs around on its weird little legs.
Yeah.
It was if you like zombie movies, it was really fun. It was
up to the point of the land shark. I was very okay, but man, as soon as that land shark came, I was like, okay, I'm sold.
It was very fun. It was. I recommend it if you like I said, if you like zombie movies and.
And we watched it. It's Japanese. We watched it dubbed, which actually made it even more ridiculous.
Right.
but if you're more of a purist, watch it with the subtitles.
Yeah.
But definitely the dub was fun.
It adds to the campiness.
Smoke a little, drink a little, and it's a fun night.
Yeah, definitely.
Something that both of us, I think you more than me, were worried about being really bad. In part of our Haterade month. Was the reimagining
of
Roadhouse. So the reimagining of Roadhouse, which
Pain Don't Hurt.
I was excited about it because the trailer I thought was done really well, and I love Jake Gyllenhaal. He is one of those people that I will watch anything he does.
He's great.
I saw a great interview with him and Seth Meyers. It was so fun. He's just so personable. Yeah. He's so charming. He's so funny.
Well, he's been in the business since he was a little baby boy.
Yeah.
So he knows how to navigate. And the thing about him, too, and it kind of lends itself to Roadhouse, is he kind of made a decision a few years ago to just not take this stuff so seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
And to have more fun in his career and not like be, an actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is great because, as you all know, acting is the easiest job in the world.
Yes, there's no reason that you should lose any sleep over acting.
If you are lucky enough to hit the lottery to be an actor, not just an actor, but a movie star,
right?
Then F it, man. If you're not enjoying it, you might as well kill yourself because you're never going to enjoy anything.
Exactly.
You're the luckiest human in the world. You have such an easy job. And, you got to work out and get... He's got a million people getting him to do that. You know what I mean?
You're getting paid. You're getting paid to work
millions
out.
Millions of dollars.
And get in shape.
Yes.
It's fine. I did find out from that Seth Meyers interview that that first fight, the slap fighting, was actually Jake Gyllenhaal's idea.
Oh, nice.
Because he was like, well, what can we do to make it more stand out? And as soon as he was like, what if I just slap him first? Doug Liman and the fight choreographers were like, yes, yes.
It's like that internet video where the guy like walks into the backyard party and just slaps everybody, all the kids, and he's just slappity slapperson.
It was good. It was fun. I really, really enjoyed it. It was super fun to watch. There was enough little nods to the movie. It does not take anything away from the original movie.
No.
In fact, I think the plot of the original movie was better.
Yes. I think the character of Dalton was better too.
Yeah.
His motivations we'll talk about it, but there's a couple of things that really.
Yeah, I enjoyed Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he did what he could with it. Most everybody else was okay.
I love Jessica Williams.
She was great.
Happy to see her career take off.
Yeah, she was so good.
I fell in love with her. Talent crush on The Daily Show.
Yeah.
And then her stand-up, and then, she was on Girls, and then she did a couple indies, and then she was great in Shrinking.
With
Harrison Ford.
So good.
And,
Jason
Segel.
Yeah, to be able to hold your own against Harrison Ford is saying a lot.
Yeah.
She's great. She was great. The little kid was great. It was just... I mean, I was expecting a little more from the town because I love the concept in the original that the town kind of comes together, and yes, it's Dalton and he's fighting the guys, but the town comes together to rally behind him
because they had the bad guy was a lot better.
Yeah, and the motivation for wanting to destroy the Roadhouse made way more sense in the original movie. But again, this is one of those movies that you can't really pick apart too much.
No.
Just watch it and enjoy it.
It is absolute cotton candy.
Yeah.
There's no substance to it. I mean, they try to have a little bit of gravitas with this bizarre backstory for Dalton that just doesn't hit. It just doesn't work.
In the original, they don't really have a backstory for it. He's just a guy.
He's just a Zen dude.
He's just he just works in bars, and they pull him in, and they were like, okay. I made the comment that with this one, the new one with Jake Gyllenhaal, it would have been a great Jack Reacher story of him just going in and helping out this bar for a while and then leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Although there was one very glaring, very negative side.
But I am really surprised. Number one, I'm super surprised it didn't ruin the movie for me.
Yes.
And number two, I think the reason why is they knew that too much of that dude was going to ruin the movie. And they had to keep him just enough. The dude is just a ridiculous human being.
Conor McGregor. You know what's really funny? Also from that interview, I found out that they only wanted him for that part. They sought him out for almost 2 years trying to get him to do that until he finally agreed to do it. Ugh. Yeah. Which I was like,
what a waste of time.
My biggest complaint with it is that his acting style was that he just couldn't stop moving.
He is Popeye.
He just bounced constantly.
He's a bouncing weirdo.
It was just bizarre.
And has no talent as an actor.
Weird accent that wasn't Irish, but kind of was.
The way he walks and moves. He is a ridiculous cartoon.
I mean, it didn't help any that the character was just awful and
it's stupid.
Just stupid.
Just stupid. And it just goes to show you how amazing Jake Gyllenhaal is that even with this stuff that could be movie killers for just, for a lot of movies.
Right.
He Jessica Williams, the good parts about it transcend it.
Yeah.
And, there wasn't enough Conor McGregor to ruin this movie.
I agree.
But again, if I never see him in another movie, I'd be a very happy man.
I mean, I get why they wanted him because he is an amazing MMA fighter. I mean, he's very dominant, and you have to have somebody that potentially could beat Dalton.
Sure, and he was an MMA fighter, and Conor McGregor is hugely popular within the UFC.
Yeah, I mean it was a big...
So it makes sense to get him. I mean, it lends credibility to the film.
Yeah,
to the fights and stuff. But it's just he's so weird looking.
Yeah,
with his body is bizarre.
Yeah,
he's just. I know if he ever hears this, he'll probably beat me to death.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's a great fighter. Like I enjoy watching him fight. I just don't enjoy watching him act. Another gold star for Jake Gyllenhaal is that he has nothing but positive things to say about him.
Sure, look, the guy could be a really great guy.
Yeah,
and look, and honestly, fighters have personas and they posture and they peacock, and that's part of their job. It's not the performing aspect of it is not that much different than like the wrestling.
Right.
I mean, the fighting is real, but I mean,
there was
So
it helped to have somebody that knew what they were doing.
Maybe he's a good guy. Whatever, it's fine.
I don't want to. Regardless, his character in the movie was awful.
It was awful. And, if he fights like he acts, he ain't getting out of a paper bag, baby.
Oh, my God. It was funny. They actually, all that UFC stuff they did was actually shot at a UFC, like 258 or 298 or whatever. And they had asked Jake Gyllenhaal what his entrance music should be. And he was like, I don't know, like Singing in the Rain? And they were like, no, we're not doing
singing that. And that's why I love him. But look, if you want just a fun popcorn flick, I totally agree with Doug Liman that it should have been released in theaters.
It would have made so much money.
It's a perfect spring March movie where there's not a lot of stuff out, and I think it would have killed.
It would have made so much bank. And I know there's a lot of people in our generation that are very much like, oh, it was just dumb. It was dumb. But
really? Is that the?
Oh yeah. There's been a lot of them that
Watch the first one. It's dumb. I mean, Roadhouse is dumb.
Exactly. The only reason that you think the first Roadhouse is good is because of nostalgia.
Exactly.
I mean, which is fine.
It's a fun movie. It's not a bad movie at all. But stop being so precious with these goofball movies. It's not Citizen Kane.
Literally, in the first movie, there is a giant monster truck that runs over cars. It is ridiculous.
Pain don't hurt.
Ugh.
Yeah, so don't. It's like, come on, people. It's just as fun and goofy as the first one.
It is.
I still, and maybe it's nostalgia, and maybe it's Patrick Swayze, but I still prefer the first one.
Yeah.
What's really funny is Jake Gyllenhaal and Patrick Swayze were in a movie together.
Yeah, they were in Donnie Darko.
Yeah. Patrick Swayze's one of his best roles.
Oh yeah. He said he's gone on record saying that he's like, I learned so much from him in that short amount of time.
Patrick Swayze, the heartbreaking thing. It's so many of it, but one of the really heartbreaking things of his early death was he was just starting to switch and start to do some really interesting, different things, like Donnie Darko, and playing a child molester. Spoiler alert. And just getting away from that, mullet,
right?
Dancing, punching guy,
the oiled up dude who, he was actually flexing more of his acting and muscles, and like it was.
He just seemed like the nicest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. There was this restaurant, Kate Manalini's, that I used to go to a lot, and I don't know if it's still around. But he coincidentally was there a lot when I was there.
Oh, wow.
And we would kind of run in, my friends and I would run into him like at the valet or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was just so nice and personable. Yeah. And it was like, we're like, hey, can I have an autograph or whatever? We'd just be like, oh, hey. And he'd be like, hey, fellas, what's going on? And, just seemed like a really good dude.
Yeah.
And had a really interesting and cool third act coming up that we were robbed of.
We were totally robbed of. Yeah. I'm excited for us to go through some Swayze movies. Because I definitely, he was one of those. I grew up with him. Like it was, he was amazing to watch, and all the stories I've heard were that he was just the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, we'll do Dirty Dancing and Ghost and
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
House.
It'll be fun. We'll have a Swayze summer. It'll be good.
He's actually really a ghost now. It's sad.
All right. All right.
Well, what about TV? What are you watching on the TV?
I did start watching Silo, which I love those weird kind of like dystopian, otherworldly set stories. You know, it's what happened to the future. Like it's
Snowpiercer.
Yeah, it's like set in the future, but and something happened to the world, but nobody really knows. And especially in this, because they've been down there for so long that nobody really knows what's going on.
Right.
But it's interesting. I'm only like 4 or 5 episodes into it. It did get renewed for a second season. So, but I'm really excited to continue it and finish it. I'm curious to see. It's one of those that like it's going to be hinging on what actually happened.
Yeah.
And if that's a good enough or not, then it may continue watching, may not.
Yeah.
But it's interesting and it's done well and there's some really good actors and it's written fairly well.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And you're how many episodes in?
Like 4. I mean, not a ton into it, but it's so funny because the 2 leads, and this is not any spoilers, but the 2 leads, it jumps around a lot in time, but like the 2 leads that you think are the leads don't make it past the first episode.
Oh, wow.
It's just like,
okay.
Like it was just so like, and it's not, I mean, it's very obvious as you watch it, but like it was just like, okay. And one of the tertiary characters kind of becomes the main character. And it's interesting.
I like stuff like that. I like zagging when you should be zigging.
Yeah. It's just an interesting concept, and it feels like it would make a really interesting video game.
Oh, okay.
You know, like even though there's not like stuff to fight or whatever.
Sure.
But like it has that kind
atmosphere,
of weird, fleshed out world of like, it's going somewhere.
Right.
And I'm curious to see where it goes.
Cool. That sounds cool. I'll have to check it out.
The new season. The second half of the new season of Invincible. I know.
I hate these weird, squirrely release schedules.
When you have a 22 episode season, it makes sense if you've got 11 episodes and then they take a break.
Sure.
When it's 8 episodes, don't show me 4 and then take 4 months off.
No, it's stupid.
What is the point of that?
I mean, Amazon is dropping the ball in terms of streaming with the commercials and all the BS.
Yeah. I think they were holding most of that stuff back till they announced the commercial stuff. And because now it's like and granted, I'm pretty sure with Invincible, there's only a commercial at the beginning. And then, no, that's not true.
There's one
There's stuff in between. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. We got to see Roadhouse was sponsored by Civil War. So
Civil
there were
War,
no interruptions for that
one. Although I didn't put this down, but we have also been watching, Phoebe and I have been watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that one only has a 30-second commercial at the beginning, and then the rest of it is not commercial free.
Yeah, I started watching that. I just totally forgot about it.
It is a very well written show.
Yeah.
The 2 leads are amazing. And they both involved in the writing, and like it's really good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I got to finish it. It's something that I kind of started watching and then forgot about.
Yeah.
I got really pissed at Prime once they put the commercials in.
I know. I understand. I get it. But Invincible's been good. I mean, I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But
it's always good, man. That show is brutal. It is bloody.
I think I'm going to stop watching. I always watch the episode and then watch like Screen Crush or something to talk about it, and they've been following the comics well enough that I'm kind of like, okay, like I don't, because inevitably they just talk about stuff that it happens future in the comics, and it's like they've been following it so closely that it's like I don't really want to know.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna kind of stop watching the explanations of things.
Yeah, I've kind of given up on those videos.
Yeah.
Something that's like really complex and has a very tight. Historic fandom or something.
Yeah.
Then,
well, like for the Acolyte, when that comes out, I'll probably watch the Easter egg videos.
Yeah, the Easter egg ones are fun
because that's a lot of like, hey, but inevitably in the Invincible Easter egg ones, they end up talking about because the Ryan Airy from Screen Crush is a huge comic book nerd, so like he knows the entire series, and it's like like with the kid, he was calling the kid by the kid's name before they even said it. And it was like, he just did that for like 5 months. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, not that that's a big spoiler or whatever, but it's like, I just don't want to know anything because the show is so good.
Yeah, it is very good. It's the animation's really great if you haven't seen it. The voice work is really amazing.
So good. This writing is so good, which is very surprising to me because I think
not a Kirkman fan.
Robert Kirkman is one of the worst writers of all time.
Well, he didn't write the show.
He does.
He does?
He does, yeah.
Okay.
Well, and he wrote the comic, and the comic is actually really good.
You're just not a Walking Dead comic fan, it sounds like.
He did not write Walking Dead well, and I just don't. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
It was his first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Invincible came after.
Yeah, I just don't
maybe
think
that's maybe it's like Kevin Smith. Maybe it was just the first.
It was just the first thing was just not good. That's very possible. Yeah, I mean, but it's good. It's a good concept and it's great. And hats off to the show. It's really good.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's on Prime. Like 22-minute episodes. They're very.
No, they're 40. They're 45.
Are they? Mm-hmm. Oh, they go by very quickly.
Yeah, but they're very, very brutal. Very brutal.
Yes, not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of gore, a lot of mushed up bodies, dismemberment.
So much gore.
It's very, very gory.
Characters. There's no. The only person that's probably not going to possibly be dead in the show is literally the main character.
Right. Well, I was happy to see that they didn't kill off that one dude.
I know. He's super annoying, but I
just love Jason Mantzoukas so much.
He's the character's growing, and it's interesting.
He's.
But God damn it! Excuse me, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, good show. Definitely check that out. I've been watching Resident Alien. Have you been watching that?
I have not started watching the third season yet. I did watch the first two.
It's really funny. I started that show a while. I think when it first came out, I started it and I was like, I don't know about this. I got like an episode or two in. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then picked it up again and really got into it this time.
Yeah.
And I really, really like it. Alan Tudyk, he is one of the most underrated, talented MFers in Hollywood today. That guy not only does this, he does so much voice work.
Oh my God, so much.
3 voices on Grimmsburg, that animated show with John Hamm. He's been playing the Joker a lot.
Oh, yeah.
In different...
the animated
I think he plays on the Harley Quinn...
Oh, yeah.
Animated show. He plays the Joker, and then he played the Joker in that little Batman, the little Batman Christmas thing that came out.
Oh, that like one shot movie thing.
Yeah. But anyway, like
he on top of the fact that he does a ton of voices for all the Star Wars universe, like it's
constantly working,
crazy all the time,
and so ridiculously talented, and it is such a fun character because he is not likable. And he's not supposed to be.
No, he's not.
But you're watching an alien become human, which is extremely interesting.
Yeah.
And it's just this season has really kind of expanded the
third season.
The third season.
Yeah,
the newest season.
The newest season, okay.
Has really expanded the universe in terms of other alien species.
Oh, interesting.
And
okay.
kind of like, it's making it a lot bigger than it was.
Okay.
Which is, sounds like, it might be a problem, but it works really well. Okay. And it's just a really unique, fun show. Great lead. It's kind of like an alien version of Northern Exposure.
Yeah,
a bit.
It really is.
It's in a snowy Colorado town.
Yeah,
and it's got some really great actors, and definitely check it out if you haven't seen it.
It's funny because I watched Phoebe and I binged the first 2 seasons. And I don't really remember much of the second season. I remember not really liking the ending of the second season.
Yeah, it was.
Like I was like, what are they going to do with this? So I'm curious to see the third.
And Linda Hamilton is in it.
Oh, really?
She it's really great to see her kicking ass.
Yeah,
and being awesome.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because she was in the yeah.
And Locke from Lost. He's in it as well. I forget his name. From Stepdad and everything. Really great actor. Rick Rabudin.
Quinn.
Something Quinn.
Something Quinn. Jonathan Quinn or something like that.
Sorry, buddy. We love you, but we just don't have the time to look up your name. But yeah, really great. Yeah. I've been really enjoying that. I think that's getting probably close to the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure.
They're probably 10 episodes.
10 or 13, I think.
13. Yeah.
It's a sci-fi show,
right?
Which is weird because it's on. It's weird too because you can catch the first 2 seasons on Netflix,
right?
But the third season, those 2 seasons, and the third season, which is coming out weekly, that's on Peacock.
Yeah.
So it's on. I have a friend; she's watching it on
Netflix,
and she's like, "Yeah, I finished it." And I'm like, "Well, there's a third season." She's like, I don't have Peacock, so it's just like, "Yeah, I'll clue you in." I'll get you a message when the third season wraps up, and then you can get yourself a free trial.
Right.
And
there you
bang
go.
through that third season.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, really like that show, and a lot of it is Alan Tudyk. I mean,
God.
He's just phenomenal.
And in the performance, it's so unique because it's such a complex character,
right?
And he makes it look effortless,
and
believable. I don't know. I don't. There's something again, talent crush. Ever since I saw him, years and years and years ago, I think the first thing that really caught me was Firefly. Was that the name of the show? Was it Firefly or was it?
Yes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Because the movie, or was the movie called? Anyway, the space western with.
Yeah, I think it was Firefly.
Yeah, but everybody loves that show. Only got one season.
Yeah, it got canceled too early.
It was great. It was a really, really great show, and
yeah. He was great on that. I mean, he was fantastic on that. Another thing that I want to watch that I have not watched yet on Netflix is The Gentleman from Guy Ritchie, the show that's kind of based on the movie, but not really. Like, it's in the same world, but completely different characters.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things about it.
I know you're not a fan, but I want to check out the 3-body problem or the 3-body.
Yeah, it's not. The only reason I'm not a fan is because of Benioff and Weiss. They were the showrunners for Game of Thrones. They screwed up the ending of that show because they wanted to be in the Star Wars universe, and then they lost the Star Wars stuff, and then Netflix was like, here's $150 million, do whatever you want, and they chose 3-body problem. I've heard good, bad, everything in between.
Yeah.
So I do want to see it because I'm very interested in the book and the concept of it.
The cast looks really good.
Yeah.
Too.
So I'm curious. I'm curious to see. I mean, I shouldn't judge this piece of media off of something in the past.
Sure.
So, I mean,
I watched Rebel Moon, so nothing can be worse.
I quote unquote watched Rebel Moon, and even without watching it, I
think the sequel comes out next month. Back to TV real quick, just one more. I started watching Manhunt.
Yeah.
About the manhunt for for the John Wilkes Booth.
Who said John Patrick Flannery?
John Patrick Flannery,
who killed Abraham Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth. Yeah, because it was like a 12-day manhunt or something.
Yeah. It's really funny because I think I mentioned this. Every comedy group, they all have a Lincoln sketch.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah,
I had a couple with the Choops.
Yeah,
we did one where it was basically Cape Fear, and Lincoln was the De Niro.
Oh, nice.
Smoking the cigar. He was such an ass. And I think Mary ended up shooting him, and I got blamed. It was very funny. And then in another group, we did the scene where, and this is actually historically accurate, and they portrayed in the show, which made me laugh, is before the play, John Wilkes Booth is at a bar, and the Secret Service agent that protects Lincoln was in the bar too.
Right.
Was a fan of Wilkes Booth.
Right.
And they were drinking together.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole conspiracy, and not in the show, but I think people talk about whatever. But it was just funny to watch that scene and then think of the scene we did, and then Matt, when you were working with Dynamite Kablamo, you guys did which was brilliant. It was behind the scenes of My American Cousin, the play. And it's like it was perfect because of the actor's reaction to the assassination. It very accurately. So it always just it tickles me. If you were in a comedy group and you had a Lincoln sketch, please let us know what it was.
Yes. Email us at genxfilespodcast@gmail.com.
But the show's good. Interestingly enough, they have some really interesting casting. Patton Oswalt.
Oh, really?
Plays
Abraham Lincoln?
Plays Abraham Lincoln. Very interesting. Short. He plays this investigator that he's kind of working with his brother to get the reward money.
Oh,
he's a little bit shady. Nice. But they have a lot of comedians playing these
interesting
roles.
More serious roles that not comedy.
And at first I'm like, but they're all really good. Like, I think comedians really make the best actors because they're so damaged. But the guy playing Lincoln, they have Hamish Linklater playing Lincoln. He was
who?
Hamish Linklater. He's in a lot of
really familiar.
what's the guy that does all the Stephen King stuff? Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan.
Yeah. He's in a lot of the Mike Flanagan stuff.
Oh,
he was in that last Flanagan show, which was great about it was very Salem's Lottie. About the preacher,
the priest. Yeah.
The priest.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor, and I didn't really recognize him at first.
Oh, really?
But he's good. Also, Tobias
Funke?
Yes. No, Tobias Menzies.
Oh, yeah.
You know him. I can't remember what else he's been in, but he's kind of the lead investigator.
The name's, yeah.
He's the guy that was supposed to be there for Lincoln, but
wasn't.
Well, there was this whole, it's really interesting because there were all these other assassinations at the same time.
Oh, really?
They were trying to get the vice president, the secretary of state.
Oh, really?
And so
they were literally trying to overthrow the government.
Pretty much, yeah. So they got the secretary of state, and I think he was going over there to check out that scene.
Oh,
during the play, and then that's when it was just so.
See, I have to watch the show.
It's crazy. It's
I love these again, much like World War II. I love like B-side historical stories. Like it's stuff that have never been told before.
Yeah,
it's really fascinating.
Well, you got Lily Taylor playing Mary Todd Lincoln.
Nice.
Matt Walsh, he plays Mudd, the doctor.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Mudd. Who, my name is Mudd. That phrase comes from that doctor. Who
really?
Charles Booth. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little bit of historical tidbits for you. But anyway, very interesting show. I'm only a couple episodes in, but so far,
is it weekly or is
it's
it
weekly?
It's weekly.
Yeah. Okay. But it's Anthony Boyle plays John Wilkes Booth. He's really good. Everybody in it is really. It's like I love true crime.
Yeah,
and I like procedurals and that kind of thing, and it's very much that. So it's totally in my wheelhouse.
I really like true crime as well, and historical true crime is really interesting. So I'm excited to watch it. It seems like Apple TV Plus has been doing some pretty. Like I really want to watch Masters of the Air.
Yeah,
the Spielberg kind of pseudo sequel, but not.
Well, it's like the
same realm
Air Force version of Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers and Pacific. The Pacific.
I wasn't really that excited until I saw a little bit of a documentary on the actual, the Bloody 100 or whatever they call them. It just sounded like they were. It was just brutal.
Yeah, crazy.
And Austin Butler, he's an up and comer.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he can do. He was really good in Elvis, so like I'm curious to see like him doing other things.
I didn't like Elvis.
Yeah. Well, I did. So whatever. Right. You're wrong.
Okay, good to know. But yeah, so check that out. So I think the big TV recommendation for the month would probably be Invincible.
Yeah, definitely. And especially because there is a previous season and there's a lot to catch up on, and it's very, very good.
And our movie pick would probably be Roadhouse.
I would say watch Roadhouse. Yeah. In fact, to the point where I might even probably before the next Stepdad show, I'll probably watch it again.
It made me really want to watch the original Roadhouse.
Yes.
I think we got to get on that Patrick Swayze.
Which they say the only reason I haven't yet is because we're probably going to cover it sometime this year.
Yeah, it's funny because there are times when I'll be looking at stuff and be like, man, I think I'm going to. Oh no, but we're probably going to do the show
to watch it. Yeah.
What are you playing video game wise then?
I have finally picked up Jedi Survivor and been enjoying that. It's so much fun just to be in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, they do a beautiful job creating those worlds.
It's so gorgeous, and it's done well. The fighting is much better than the first one.
Yeah.
There's more stances and things, although funny enough, I'm just using the main stance, the one lightsaber.
That's cool. I like that. You're a purist.
But it's just fun. It's just the easiest. But this is the biggest thing for me with Jedi Survivor was the realization that I don't want any more challenges in my video games.
Well, any undue challenges, any super
mostly
hard
fighting challenges. Yeah. That's the big thing because there's puzzles and stuff, and there's things that are hard, and they have these force tears where they're divided up between like you having to do like jumping and platforming and stuff, and then fighting, and it's like the platforming is hard, but I'm continuing to try it because I know that eventually I'll be able to get it.
Yeah,
there's bosses when even on the quote unquote easiest level. Not the story mode,
right?
But the easiest level.
Padawan.
Yeah, that ends up being still very difficult.
Well, it essentially is a Souls-like game.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have that vibe where it has very difficult boss battles, and you have to strategically figure it out, and it takes some time. But it's like, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that at all. In fact, this is the thing. Like, Horizon Forbidden West just came out on PC, and I keep seeing all these commercials for it. And I started playing that game and stopped because I got frustrated.
Yeah.
And I realize now that I need to play it because I just need to put it on easy.
Sure.
And just go with it.
Yeah.
There's no shame in wanting to enjoy something.
Not at all. I like a challenge. I like, I never play hard level or whatever. I always play like the normal level.
Yeah.
And I'll always try that. And like Forbidden, the Horizon games, the combat to me is a lot more organic, and it's not as punishing if you use the right tools. And it's like The Witcher.
Yeah.
Witcher 3. If you use the right tools, you know what you're doing, you're going to be able to do it, and you feel like a badass. It's just, I think I played Jedi Survivor on normal, but there were certain boss battles that I had to drop it down all the way to story mode. I would go incrementally down, try to fight it, just be like, you kidding me? This is easy? This is supposed to be easy?
This is what's really funny about it is that, because I played story mode for a while, and then I jumped it back up to Padawan, and then it was like just random normal guys were killing me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, obviously, because I think in Jedi Survivor it's very similar. Like, I think that like The Witcher, you can figure that out.
Right.
I'm just realizing that I just don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that I want to just do a mash them up, like, mash the buttons kind of thing, but it's like, I just don't want to spend the time learning how to do that stuff.
You want to play the story.
That's just not what's important to me in that game.
It's because it doesn't have to be. The exploration's really fun.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of loot and things to find and secrets to find, and there's great relationships and side quests.
Yeah. The only real downside to playing on story mode is that everything is so easy.
Yeah, you're the badass Jedi. Jedis.
It makes sense when I'm fighting there's like 10, foot soldiers, and I'm fighting them, and it's wow, and they're all dead. But then, like, I fight a Rancor monster, and I kill him in 4 seconds. It's like, no, okay. But I know that if I bumped it back up to Padawan, I would just get frustrated.
You can pick up a bone and put it in its mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do that. I should have done that. That would have been fun.
It is, I really, that game, when I played it, it was one of those up until 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Hard to put down.
I played it quite a while last night.
Because it's also, one of those, well, I'll just do one more thing, or I'll just find this one last thing.
And there's enough variety in it, and it's interesting. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think it's because I tried replaying the first game and was on Padawan and got super frustrated, and I was just like, F it, and then stopped. And it's like, I kind of wish I'd gone through and just done the story again. Because there's a lot of stuff I don't remember from the first game.
In my opinion, it improves upon all the stuff in the first game. I think the character is a lot more likable because he's more seasoned and he's less, and it's also, as the story goes on, we're creating more of a hybrid Jedi than, just your typical Jedi. The stuff that he goes through, there's some great story beats. There's some great redirects, and there's, I don't know how far you've gotten, but there's some really cool, like, twists and turns. That really make it a much deeper and emotional story.
Right. The last major thing I did was fighting the giant, like, drill. Do you remember that fight with Marin, and she's like zapping you through stuff, and you're having to fly around? One of the coolest fights I've ever seen. It was so much fun. It was hard, even on story mode, because you're having to, like, constantly jump and, like, dash into these, like, portals that she's flipping around. But it was so cool.
Yeah, there's some really great set pieces in that. Yeah. Very, very fun movie. I think it's even on sale now. So
it is. They actually just announced yesterday a sale, the spring sale, and for PlayStation, and it's on sale. I don't know how much. I mean, I'm sure it's under $40.
It's usually on sale on Prime too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's but it's definitely worth a pickup, and it's just me realizing that I need to not feel shamed for wanting just to play on story mode.
Well, look, it's how you want to enjoy it, and certain games. Like, if I ever played Elden Ring, which I know that Elden Ring is everything about it should be in my wheelhouse, but if I were to play it, it would have to be on easy because I'm not going to spend. I get it. It's really cool. I used to play Monster Hunter, and the whole thing is like you have to prepare and you fight for like 20, 25 minutes, one thing.
Right.
And it feels good when you beat it, but it's just, I want the story. I want the exploration. I want the fun. I don't want to feel like I'm at a job.
Right. It's my time to relax and decompress. Like I don't like, because I used to do that, man. I used to scream at my TV so much, and it's like I just don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point? If it's going to aggravate you, then why are you playing it?
There's only one game, which I know you haven't finished it yet, but God of War Ragnarok. There is extra fights. I did it all I finally just bumped it all the way down to the easiest mode, and there is still the very last Valkyrie, and it's not part of the story or anything, it's just extra, but the very last Valkyrie, even on easy, I tried it like 20 times. I was like, no, this isn't happening. Like, I just let it go. It was the only thing I didn't do in that game. Was beat that last person.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I get it, because it was supposed to be hard. Yeah. And I couldn't even imagine trying to fight that on any difficulty level higher.
It's incredible watching some of these people, some of these kids
I mean, more power to them. Like, awesome. If that's your jam, go for it.
Yeah.
I just don't have that time anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yes. It's just, I agree. And that's what I love about Jedi Survivor is it doesn't punish you for dropping it down. There's no penalty or you don't miss trophies or whatever it is.
No, you want to enjoy it, enjoy it.
It just lets you enjoy it at whatever pace you want because they want you to enjoy the game.
Right. What have you been playing?
Well, I finished Dead Island 2.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
It was really fun. It's just a dumb... it was really fun killing zombies in L.A.
Yeah.
And it's a beautifully rendered game. It's not open world. It's got kind of hubs. Mm-hmm. They're little mini open areas.
Right.
And there's all sorts of side missions. The missions it's kind of generic, but it's kind of fun. And I really enjoyed it. The gore is ramped up. And then you get to a point, once you get guns, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
But I still had fun. I think it took me maybe 30 hours to get through. I did everything but one treasure hunt or something.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't know where it was. And at some point when the DLC goes on sale, I'll pick it up because I'll go back in. Some of the stuff looks really cool. But, I mean, it was very satisfying. I'm enjoying these kind of palate cleansers from the open world stuff where you just kind of, it's not on rails, but it does have a very distinct path that's pretty easy to follow.
Right. Yeah.
It was nice to do that with a little bit of exploration, a little bit of collectible stuff. And it's, I'd be curious to play through as another...
one of the other
characters because they each have their own unique style and their strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, I think it's on sale right now too. Yeah. I would definitely recommend it. It's like, it's a solid 8.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
It's a fun adventure game. But I went back to the old basics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was looking for games to play and I still got to play Baldur's Gate 3. I got so many games on my pile, but I'm doing another Red Dead Redemption 2 playthrough, and God, is that game like going home, man. It is just the most comfortable pair of slippers, the most softest, best robe you could wrap around yourself. And I'm realizing it is definitely my favorite game of all time, but it just seems like this game was just built for me.
Right.
I love the slow pacing, and the funny thing is, I think this is my third playthrough. Very few games that I played more than once. I think Last of Us I played 3 times.
I've definitely played through that.
Last of Us 2 a couple of times. I'm going to definitely play through that again because I got the upgrade.
Oh, the new one. Yeah. The
upgrade. But this game, man, the funny thing is, and I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't played it because it's the greatest game ever made. But there's a point in the game that if you played it before, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
And it's very early on in the game. It's in chapter 2 out of like
in the story.
In the story part, right? So I've done everything up until that point, and I see that yellow circle on the map, and I keep being like, okay, I'll do it. And then, well, maybe I'll do a robbery, or maybe I'll just play some poker. And that's the thing about it, is it's so distracting. There's something to do in every corner of it. There's something to discover that has nothing to do with the game, just weird stuff.
Right.
You know, like a pile of bodies. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's spectacular. And even because we're 5 years in on this game, it's a half a decade old.
Yeah.
It's still, as a PS4 game, the best looking game on the PS5, in my opinion. Yeah. And I just, the funny thing too is I really do want to do a low honor playthrough. Like, playthrough is just a jerk.
Yeah.
But I just can't do it because I like the character too much.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
and the other characters I like too much. And I don't want to be mean to them.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
every time I have the option of playing a low honor or bad guy playthrough, I can't do it.
It's hard
on any game. I just can't do it.
It's so stupid too, because it's like it would be really fun to just be the bad guy, but I don't know. I feel badly about it.
Not in your nature, man.
But oh man, if you have not, for whatever reason, played Red Dead Redemption 2, and you're a video game fan, it is the greatest, and especially for the Gen X crowd.
Oh yeah.
It's a very laconic. It's a cowboy sim, man, and it's not a fast-paced game. The physics are very realistic. You know, it's just, I love going in and getting a bath and a hotel room and a haircut. You know, it's like you go. It's so stupid, but I'll be out. I'll set up a camp out in the wilderness, and I'll go hunting for a couple of days, and my beard will be all big, and you'll be all dirty, and then you go in and you go to town, and you get yourself a room and a bath and some whiskey and a lamb dinner, and then it's just crazy how good this game is, and
the physics in the game are amazing. The fact that you grow a beard and hair and stuff. There was a great video of a guy that took 100 hair tonics before he went into a cutscene.
He was completely bald before the thing.
Clean shaven, and he took 100 hair tonics, and he's talking, and it's a cutscene, so you can't do anything. And I was like, well, nothing's happening. And then it cuts away from him, Arthur, and cuts back, and suddenly it's just like, and it's just like, it was the
greatest, down to his belly.
It was the greatest shot ever.
It is insane.
It was so surprising and so amazing, and the fact that you couldn't do that in the game is just crazy.
You can play it whatever way you want. It is so open-ended and and free. There's a bunch of games I want to try. The funny thing is I did pre-order Dragon's Dogma 2. Which came out.
Yeah.
Play Red Dead Redemption 2. That's my thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to proselytize about that till the day I die.
Yeah.
That's my religion, baby.
Yeah.
But so I've been really looking forward to Dragon's Dogma 2 because it looks kind of like that type of deal. You can do whatever you want, and apparently the world is very rich with things to do.
Right.
So I had it pre-ordered. And then all this controversy came out about microtransactions and frame rates and stuff. And then so I canceled the pre-order. I was like, damn them.
Yeah.
And then I read the stuff, and it was basically not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think for the console, it's not. Apparently, all the microtransaction stuff you can buy, it's not that hard to find the stuff.
Not at all. The thing that I'm going to do is I will get it. I am going to get it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wait until they patch it out.
Yeah. Give it a few months.
Give it a few months.
It'll probably be on
$20 off.
Yeah, it'll be on sale.
And I know we're all very excited about games, and I get extremely excited about games. And there's certain things that I will pre-order. I'll pre-order almost anything from Rockstar. If Rockstar is developing it, then I will.
Yes.
Not the awful remakes.
The stuff they just kick to the corner.
Yeah, they
go,
give it to
here,
some
you
crap
do this.
company. Here, make these. Take our greatest properties. And ruin them. But
Yeah.
I will. Rockstar does not disappoint. They've never disappointed. But at this point, they're releasing unfinished games, and it does not behoove you to buy a game at launch anymore.
No.
If you wait even a year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Cyberpunk.
Yeah, over like 2 years.
Yeah,
it took them
a while.
Yeah. But if you wait like a few months or a year, they're going to patch out all the problems and it's going to be cheaper. It just doesn't make sense anymore to buy games at launch.
No.
Because they don't finish them. And I don't mind waiting for a game if you're going to make it perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take the time.
Yeah. Move the release date back.
Yeah.
Like, the industry has painted itself into this corner because they're so beholden to shareholders, and they say, well, we think it's going to be ready in Q1 of 2025. Right.
Yeah.
And then they find out, oh my God, there's 3 years worth of work we have to do, and we only have a year.
Yeah.
And so they go, well, it's fine. It's playable enough.
Right.
The problem is that if we wait and don't buy it, then the shareholders are like, well, why are we putting more money into this?
Right.
And so then they don't necessarily fix the stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you buy something that's broken, then you got to wait to play it anyway.
Well, or these live service games like Suicide Squad, and it's like they come out and they're disappointing, and then you buy the season pass or whatever, and then they stop doing
and then
work on it, and they stop the server and stuff. I don't know if the server and everything is still up, but it's definitely a disappointment. And that's gotta. The thing is, it used to be like with Atari, it would take you 6 weeks to make a game.
Yeah, yeah.
And it would be an incredible feat,
right?
And it would be a lot of hard work, but you could jam out a game in 6 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was very simple. Not simple, but it was
less complicated.
Exactly. One guy could make Yar's Revenge.
Yeah.
It didn't take a whole team of people, but games have become so incredibly complex that it does take $300 million and 5 years of development. And if you're going to spend that much money and you're making this AAA game, take the time,
Right. Do what Larian did with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Make it real good, and then when it's like, we're not going to do anything else with it. Okay, that's fine. It's perfect.
It's a complete game.
Yeah,
you don't need DLC.
I don't need you to fix anything. I don't need DLC. I don't need any of that. It's great.
Yes. Yeah.
Here's my $60. Here's my $70. I've got the game. Now we're good.
Right. And then, the industry response to that is, well, that's not tenable.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just release a complete game.
Well, yeah, because, again, they're beholden to shareholders. Well, how are we going to continue to make money off of this?
Well, it's the BS with Capcom and Dragon's Dogma 2, a single-player game that is releasing microtransactions.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be microtransactions on a single-player $70 game.
No, leave that for the Fortnites and the, whatevers. Like I all those games
Apex Legends.
All those games I don't play. Leave it for that. Leave it for the kids to beg their parents for money. Don't bring me a AAA game and then tell me, the $70 you put down, that's still not enough.
The thing that I will give them for because I did look at the microtransactions, there's no cosmetics, there's no weapons.
Yeah.
It's just basically the thing that got people so freaked out is there were like save stones or save stones, but like some sort of stones that you need to get pawns or whatever, and that you could buy those.
Right.
Well, then the guy was like, look, man, I had so many of those within game that I didn't even need them.
Right.
So it wasn't like, to get the coolest outfit, you have to pay $10 because it's not in the game. Right. At least they're not doing that.
I agree. I think the other part of the issue is that the microtransactions was never announced beforehand.
That is what's very shady.
That really put people off.
Yeah, they went live midnight at launch.
And it was like suddenly there's a menu with microtransactions. It's like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah, I mean, look, if people know going in, just be honest with your customers. Yeah. Don't try to sneak it. Capcom is sneaky that way. They did that with the Resident Evil remake.
Yeah.
They're trying to... Not everything needs a marketplace, right?
No. Yeah, agreed. Or do it the way that Grand Theft Auto Online has done it. Like GTA Online. I've never paid beyond buying the game multiple times, I've never paid a penny towards anything on the online aspect of that game. And they still make a ton of money from it because people want to I need more money to do stuff.
And I will say that their GTA Plus subscription is a value now because you get access to other Rockstar games. So you not only get the perks or whatever for GTA, but you can play the original Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
You can play the trilogy of GTA 3.
Are they available like all the time, or is it that
I think it might float in and out?
Yeah, I think they might float in and out.
But that was a smart move.
Yeah, you're getting more value.
Yes, because if it's although I really am adamant about physical media at this point, that you should buy your games on disc, and
if you can,
because a lot of this subscription service, or I think the worst is probably Ubisoft, who's got Ubisoft Direct or whatever it is, where it's just basically a hub where you can play all of your Ubisoft games.
Right.
But you're also beholden to them. What if they get rid of a game?
Yeah.
What if they, so you don't even, in the digital president or whatever of Ubisoft, he's the one that said, get used to leasing your games.
Yeah, not
owning your
actually
games.
owning your games.
And that's BS, man. I mean,
I agree.
If I pay $70 for a game,
right,
I should own that game.
Right. I shouldn't have to be online. I shouldn't have to I should be able to pop it into my machine and play the game.
That's another thing that is ridiculous. These online, always single-player games.
Yeah, that doesn't...
I get it. Dragon's Dogma, you can play both, but I get why it's online because of the pawn system. Because, like, if you have a pawn, I can go rent your pawn.
Okay.
And use your pawn as part of my party, and you can use my pawn as part of your party, and we can get each other money. And if my pawn has done a bunch of quests, it will tell you, like, hey, maybe we should go over here. It's really a cool system.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah.
The whole pawn thing is fascinating, the AI system. And so I get that.
That sounds great. It's something I would never do.
I mean, you'd still do it because you have to have pawns.
Yeah, no, I realize, but I mean, take other people's stuff anyway.
But you can be offline and just use Capcom's pawns.
Yeah.
So I get that. At least you have a choice. I guess for like piracies, I don't know why everything is online.
That's the only thing I can figure is that it has to be like to prove that you bought it. But
it's discriminatory because so many places don't have that good of internet.
Yeah.
And if you just want to play a single player game and you have to be connected,
right?
That's BS.
Yeah.
It's just
it's the same when you buy a game that's not ready,
right?
And then how many times you throw the game in. Hey, hey, here's an 80 gig download you have to do to fix the game.
Oh my God, exactly. Day one patches of like 4,000 gigs. And that's another thing.
What if I don't have the internet?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Or what if you have super slow internet? It takes days to download that stuff. And I get it. Let's be honest, it is a wonderful time to be a gamer.
Yeah.
The greatest games are out. They're doing some great remakes. Some great stuff is coming out. But the industry needs to correct itself with this greed because it's turning off their fans. And there was a lot of backlash to Dragon's Dogma.
Oh, yeah.
It got review bombed. I canceled my pre-order. A lot of people did. Maybe it was jumping the gun. But I'm glad that I did because, again, they're going to be patching the frame rate issues, the save issues, all this stuff. So it behooves you to wait at this point, which is sad because, there's certain games like GTA 5. I remember being at the midnight launch, man. Yeah. And you go to Best Buy and you pick up your pre-order and you go home and you stay up to 3 a.m. I mean, that was so fun. You don't really do that anymore.
Those days are kind of over.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I think the only game that I bought when it first came out in the last few years was Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one. And that was one of those single-player games that it was like, this just works.
Perfect.
And it was perfect, yeah.
Well, they do. There's certain companies that are great, and that they're going to do stellar work.
Yeah.
And I would, like I said, I wouldn't have any qualms about pre-ordering a Rockstar game or a Naughty Dog game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Insomniac is another great.
Yeah, another good company that they would rather put out quality product at the get-go.
Exactly. And then you have two other companies, Hello Games, which released No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And which was a disaster, but is amazing now.
Yeah.
They just released a new update with these upgraded graphics that look
really?
All free, by the way.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of updates, absolutely free. So they have which is really funny because they have a new game coming out that looks really cool. It's like more of a fantasy game, but it's literally an open world. Yeah, it's one world.
Giant world,
that you could go anywhere.
Oh, that's crazy.
And the funny thing is when everybody's talking about it, they're like, well, people are all skeptical of Hello Games. Can they do it, because of the thing? And my thinking is, of course they can, because there's no way they're going to repeat the disaster that was No Man's Sky. Just the same thing with CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
That had such a horrible launch with Cyberpunk, but they made up for it.
Yeah, and they worked hard to correct it.
Get your trust back. Yeah. And I think that's what puts these companies ahead of others, like whomever released the Avengers game and that was just garbage.
Just garbage.
Or, Anthem, which, or Skull and Bones, which I played I tried the beta of that because, that thing's been coming out for 20 years.
Yeah. Crap.
And just garbage. It gets to the point where it's too big to fail or too big to whatever, and then you just release a crap game. They just made so many bad decisions. And it just goes to show you that whether it's movies or TV or video games, executives ruin everything.
That's true.
Anyway.
All right, well, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
I think we're good.
So I'd say Jedi Survivor or Dead Island 2.
Yeah, and definitely if you have not picked up Red Dead Redemption 2, pick it up, play it.
Oh, God, it's so good.
Play it forever. Right now. You don't have to play anything else for the rest of your life.
If I could only pick one game to play.
I mean, to be honest, given the fleshed out world, 100%.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I still find stuff that I didn't know about.
Right. I mean, there's I've only played through once, but like so many videos I've watched where I was like, that was in this?
Or there's like several different ways for things to play out too, depending on your reactions. It's just, anyway, I could go on forever, but
that's good stuff.
Greatest game ever made. 100% my favorite game of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Pick them up.
So next month, we're heading into April with The Other Buddies.
The Other Buddies, going into my birthday month.
Yeah.
Because I'm the other buddy.
You are. I'm a hater. That was my birthday month because I'm filled with hate and rage.
I'm the guy everybody forgets about.
You're the buddy. But since we're buddies...
It's gonna be a fun month. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, it's these lesser-known buddy movies that are very much guilty pleasures of mine.
Oh, my God.
We're starting out with...
Running Scared.
Running Scared with Billy Crystal. And Gregory Hines, whom I love.
Yeah.
And then we're going to run into a little bit of Tango and Cash, which I'm so excited for.
That's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy.
And
that's the weirdest production I've ever seen.
Oh, my God. It's so 80s. It is just 80s, 90s.
Oh, it is so...
magic.
It is the epitome of 80s action movie.
And then probably one that a lot of people don't really remember, but a very guilty pleasure of mine. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man with Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah, baby.
I haven't seen that in forever.
So have a great rest of your life. No. So we'll see you next month.
Yeah.
Ooh, Haterade is over. Whoa. Wow.
Shine, sweet freedom, shines on me. Speaking of Timothy Oliphant, super excited about Fallout coming out in April.
Oh my God, yeah.
Looks so good.
Which he's not in, but Walton Goggins is.
Oh, that's Walton Goggins. Also another actor who is
from
amazing.
Justified.
Yeah.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled program, TJ Hooker, already in progress.